And cheers, I do, Buckaroos. And how the heck are you? So, just a few minutes ago, just a few minutes ago, I found out it was National Martini Day. Didn't realize it was National Martini Day. So I kind of threw a couple together real fast. I do two martinis with you for National Martini Day. I thought I ought to do a gin martini, a traditional gin martini, well, more or less anyway. I'm using the Still 630 out of St. Louis American Navy Strength gin at a 120 proof. And I've done both of the martinis. I'll be honest with you, I've done dirty, so I'm not using any dry vermouth. I just in this case the gin, just a little bit of olive juice and two garlic stuffed olives. And chilled, chilled, chilled. And that is the key to the martini. Yeah, you know what? I do love a Manhattan. It's probably my favorite cocktail, and you want it chilled. But it doesn't need to be chilled if you're following me. But a martini, yeah, you want really cold because it is kind of a different animal. I know many people that keep their vodka and gin in the freezer, so it's the application is always cold. And you can certainly do that if you like. This Navy strength gin really is something, man. I didn't think about it at the time until I took a drink here, but I should have put a lemon peel in this one as well because it really has a lot of lemon notes. This particular gin does. It's very citrus, but lemon in particular. Very herbal, as you expect the gin to be. Uh, and you're certainly going to find that juniper, but it isn't. So how do I say this right? It's sort of dominant. The juniper is, but you have a lot of very close supporting casts going on here. It's not all juniper. There's a lot of other things going on. You get a lot of citrus, a lemon in particular. It's very. You might even feel some tarragon. I mean, that might just very well be me because I'm very sensitive to certain flavors and aromas. But yeah, I feel like a little tarragon note in there. The martini. I did kind of a spoof video the other day talking about the four martini lunch or the three martini lunch, about bringing that back. Let's bring back the three martini lunch, man. Everybody was in a much better mood when we were drinking a lot of martinis at noon. We took a lunch, well, we, not me, that's before my time, but as old as I am, that was before my generation. Yeah, they take a lunch like from noon to 2, drink 3 or 4 martinis, and come back. You know, but here's the rub, right? Here's the rub. The rub is actually things got done. And I think that is because, in my particular opinion, having seen some of that firsthand, is that I think it's not necessarily even about the alcohol, to be honest with you. I was kind of making the joke that after a couple of martinis, everybody was more willing to compromise. But it's not even about that per se. It's about sitting down with someone at a bar and not at a meeting table. Not it's a little bit. Negotiations are different when you're sitting there at a neutral location. You're sitting there at a bar. You've got a martini in hand. And I think that's why things got done. I think that's why negotiations got reached back then that aren't getting reached now because you don't have that same ability to do so. I think it's become more about ego now than actually getting things done. Everybody's got such big ego in play that they don't even care about getting anything done. That's why nothing happens in Washington these days because you don't have folks like Tip O'Neill, you know, and counterparts, having those 3, 4 martini lunches. And that's when things got hammered out when they were smoking cigars and drinking martinis. But right now, you've got small minds and large egos, and nobody's willing to get anything done. And the people that have been elected to office are absolutely ridiculous. It's amazing to me that somebody like Marjorie Taylor Greene has even been elected, but she's been elected twice now. I mean, she's dumb as a stump. Whereas we can go into the Jewish space laser thing and all the other stupid ass things she said. But the the finer point is, I mean, clearly she's a bigot and a racist. But people that voted for her are okay with that. And again, that's a problem. And you've got this Lauren Boebert character. I mean, wow. It's like that. You got that joke, right? I'm not saying Marjorie Taylor Greene's the dumbest person on the planet, but you better hope that Lauren Boebert doesn't die. And that's kind of where we're at. But back in the Tip days, back in the Tip O'Neill days, no, the folks would they'd yell and scream at each other while they were on camera because that's what was expected. But as soon as that camera went off, they they'd go to that bar, they'd go to that back room, and they'd have a couple martinis and a cigar, and that's when things got done. And things aren't getting done now because there's too much ego in play, too much ignorance, and too much ego in play. We got small minds and huge egos, and that's why shit isn't getting done. Small minds and huge egos, and that's why nothing's getting done because nobody's willing to admit when they're wrong. And some of these people, in all honesty, are just too stupid to admit they're wrong. I mean, you can't have a logical discussion from somebody that has actually said the words Jewish space lasers, somebody that has actually said peach tree dishes, somebody that is that stupid you cannot have a discussion with. They've actually said those things, man. Oh my lord. So I'm having a martini on National Martini Day, remembering the old days when old Tip and the folks would get in those back rooms and they would hammer out a deal. And we go to bed at 6 o'clock, or we turn off the news at 6 o'clock and go to bed at 10 thinking everything is going to hell in a handbasket. And then the 7 o'clock news in the morning would tell you, hey, they reached an agreement. And that's not going to happen ever again, not with the current attitude that these folks have, because you don't have anybody with the class and knowledge of a Tip O'Neill left. Now, as somebody on the left, I will acknowledge that Nancy Pelosi did get a lot of things done, and she just did. However, I will say it lost the sentiment lost me a lot of friends on the same political field as I by saying she outlived her usefulness. I mean, she really should have retired several years earlier. It would have been better for the party had she done so. But she became too polarizing and not getting anything done. And that became, I mean, it kind of became the battle cry on the right and on the left, that nobody was going to compromise and nothing was going to get done. And I thought to myself, damn, back in the Tip O'Neill days, yeah. People would talk some smack about Tip, but they never would disrespect him because they knew he would get the stuff done. On the right and on the left, to be honest with you. I mean, he had that ability to engage, to get folks to come to a middle ground, and he did give up some. It's not like it was always the right giving stuff up. I mean, it became an actual meet in the middle, which is something that doesn't seem to be able to be done these days. Because I'm not sure either side is really to do a lot of compromise, and that just becomes a huge issue. When everybody is convinced they're absolutely right, and they're not going to give an inch to the ground, nobody benefits. And it's the working class that take it and we take it in a keister the hardest, because the rich people, they're going to be fine. They're going to stay rich. They're going to make sure they stay rich. Upper middle class is going to pay probably just a tad more taxes, but they're going to be just fine. But it's the working poor that takes it in the shorts, man. And we take it in the shorts every time because we're the ones that stimulate the economy. We're the ones that keep spending the money, right? We're right here. We're spending the money we make. We're for the most part living paycheck to paycheck. We're paying the rent. We're paying what we got to pay, and then when we get a chance, by golly, we're going to blow off some steam and do something. So we're the folks that are continuously spending the money. We're the folks that are continuously stimulating the economy. We're the folks that took those checks in 2020 and actually bought shit. We didn't put the money in the bank like the upper middle class did. Oh no. The rich did. They took that shit away. They got all those PP. They got all those loans, man, and they kept it all. They didn't pay a nickel back. I mean, Brett Favre, some of these guys made out like bandits, while the rest of us, man, we, we took that money and we paid bills with the first one and we bought shit with the second one. Yeah, we bought frivolous shit, didn't we? Like food. Bought food. I mean, the first check paid bills, the second one bought food. Okay, I will admit that I did buy myself a nice smoker. I bought myself a nice a pit barrel smoker, a veteran-owned company. I feel good about that decision. Spend a little more than I typically would because I can't afford a pit barrel. It's a lot of money for a working class guy. But hey, I had that check, and it stimulated the economy, and that's what they said it was for. But the funny thing about that is, then they want to make you feel guilty about it, right? Well, you poor people, you wouldn't be poor if you just saved your money and not spend it. But then you just told me I should take that money and spend it to stimulate the economy. Now you're jumping down my ass for spending it. You people got to make up your fucking minds. I got to tell you. Anyway, I digress. I'm going to step up and grab martini number two. I'll be right back. And that's the kicker about the rich, right? They tell you when you're poor folks that you need to get out, and you need to do this, and you need to do that. But when you do have a night out on the town, when you do spend the money, they tell you you're being frivolous, and you wouldn't be poor if you would just save the money. Well, the truth is, there may be some truth to that, but there's more truth to the fact that if we were actually paid a living wage, things would be a little better too. But anyway, but I'll be honest with you. The truth is, yeah, I could probably just decide, okay, I'm not going to buy this ever again. I'm not going to do this ever again. We're going to stay home. We're gonna live like Soviet. we're gonna live we're gonna live like Brezhnev is in charge, and we're the Soviet Union. We're gonna go to work. We're gonna come home, and we're not gonna do not a damn thing else. We're not gonna have any fun. We're not gonna crack a smile. We're not gonna do a goddamn thing. And at some point, we may be somewhere other than dirt poor, but we're never going to be rich living that way. So the fact of the matter is, we might as well get out there and have a little bit of fun and enjoy our lives. And that's what pisses off the rich, right? Because they don't think we ought to be able to enjoy our lives. They're mad at us. They're mad. They're mad because Tom, you're poor and you're fat. You're overweight. It's your fault. Your health is bad. You need to accept responsibility. It's not our fault. Uh, you shouldn't be complaining about the health care in this country. You should just get yourself in better shape. And that is the right wing mentality, to have absolutely no heart and have absolutely no soul. However, they're not entirely wrong. I mean, yes, I could get in better shape, but I'm working on it. Right? But I'm fixing to have some surgery done on my left knee, total knee replacement. So maybe after that's done, I will start being able to do more and hope, hopefully get in better shape. And just that knee has been so bad for so long, it's just been a lot of pain. But yes, truthfully, could I have not done some things? Could we have just stayed home and not taken some of the small trips we've taken? Could I have not bought an alcohol? Yes, there's a lot of things I could have stopped. But then again, what kind of existence is that? Then we're living that that Soviet era existence where we're just going to work, we're coming home, we're not cracking a smile, we're not having fun. And I think that's part of what irritates rich people off the most is that poor people can actually have fun, right? Because they think if you can't buy this certain car, if you can't live in a specific house, if you can't eat caviar for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, somehow you should not be happy with yourself. And I'm here to tell you, well, you're an idiot. Because somebody that's not a narcissist doesn't need all of those things to have a good time. They don't need those things to exist. I mean, I don't. I've never needed a lot of material things. Yeah, would I like to not be in quite some of the financial binds I'm in? Sure. Uh, but am I willing to hurt somebody else to get myself there? No, I am not. And that's the decision that every rich person has made. Every person you know, every rich person you know has had to hurt somebody to get to where they're at, and I am unwilling to do that. So, martini number two, what is it, you may ask? Or you may not. I don't care. I'm having some of the Sugarland Shine. Yeah, I want to go a different way with this martini. Right? I went traditional with the first one. So I want to do kind of an unaged whiskey sort of thing here. This is their Silver Cloud Tennessee Sour Mash. It's a cane and grain whiskey at 100 proof. Out of Gatlinburg, Tennessee, I do believe is what I read earlier. The stuff is very good. I made a martini a couple of days ago, but I want to have one with you tonight on National Martini Day, if you will. As always, anybody watching, if you have any questions or comments, please put it up there. If you'd like to be part of the video, let me know and I will send you the link. Henry, I'm going to post your comments, sir. Yeah, this stuff is very good. So I bought two of these, not two of this, but I bought two products from them. I bought this Tennessee sour mash, and I also bought a rye, an unaged rye cane and grain. That is very good. But I decided to go with this one because it was just a little sweeter. And does make a beautiful martini. So yeah, yes, a traditional martini is gin. It is. It just is. But then you can go vodka martini. But for me, I think you can use anything. I've even made martinis out of bourbon and rye and other things. But I think there is something about having it clear, right? So I do like to use unaged products. So these so-called legal moonshine like products. This one's at 100 proof. Again, it kind of gives it a different spin on a classic, right? You don't have the botanicals, but you got a lot of flavor in this particular an aged spirit. So yes, you missed my first martini. Silver Edge 99. Now my first martini was gin. I used the Still 630 out of St. Louis. Their Navy strength gin at 120 proof. I wanted to start one my first one to be a gin martini, but I wanted the second one to be just a little more innovative. I want, but still classic, right? So I just changed the product, but I still made a dirty martini. Ah, anyways, I digress. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with a traditional gin martini. In fact, that is traditional, but I do like to do other things. I do have a vodka martini every once in a while. Like I said, I've even used bourbon rye and other things upon occasion. But it does feel like you ought to use an unaged product, right? You want that martini clear. But in this sugar shine, uh, is really something else. So, anyways, here we go. So I thought I'd have two martinis with you today for National Martini Day. This is kind of my last hurrah. I can't drink after today for a little while anyway. I'm having some surgery done on Wednesday on my knee and a totally replacement coming up, so I can't drink it all tomorrow. And probably for at least a couple of weeks after, the pain meds and everything else. But I thought I wanted to do. Actually, I hadn't planned on doing this video until I saw it was National Martini Day. It's like, oh, okay, better. Yeah, I had something else actually in the works, but so I probably ought to have a martini. But anyway, my wife and I have been enjoying wine lately, so I did have a bottle of wine I wanted to open up. So I may here after a while do that. But I did feel like I should come on here and do two martinis for National Martini Day. Uh, oh, the martini brings me back to simpler times. Oh yeah, the '70s when the '70s. Uh, when misogyny ran rampant. Uh, Nobody had to be politically correct. It's a different time. Should we get back to that? Well, the truth is, no. People want to say "Make America Great Again," and what the hell does that mean? Anytime I've asked somebody that has that hat on, what does that mean to you? None of them can actually give you a straight answer, right? You want to go back to the time when we had separate drinking fountains, right? uh, when people had to sit at the back of the bus. Is that what America? Is that when America was great? So you gotta define. I want you to tell me exactly what America you want to go back to, and tell me why that was so wonderful for you. If you can do that, if you got the balls to do that, here's to you. But I haven't found one MAGA nut that's been able to do that. Not a one of them has ever had the balls to stand up and say, this is what the America I want to go back to. Because quite frankly, they don't have a good answer. They want to be ignorant, they want to be bigots, and they want to be racist. They just don't have the balls to actually say that. That's what they believe. And that's what that little hidden agenda is about. And that's what the little innuendo is. Uh, but none of them have enough stones to actually stand up and say what they believe. So, anyways, I digress. But I digress, man. I am Tom. Tonight, I'm the Martini Whisperer, prolific martini drinker, purveyor of wisdom, and all around good guy. And thanks for tuning in. Ah, biscuits and gravy. Have a good one, guys.